GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man JRich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is he? How good is he? Let's go, baby. GMGP. It is Friday, December 5th, 2025. 20 days. JRich till Santa Claus comes to town, baby. 20 days. Santa's going to be in the building. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay. Just about every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday when your boy is not on his 9-year anniversary trip. So that's where I've been, Jay. I thought I was going to be able to do the show. It didn't happen, man. There was too much going on celebrating 9 years of marriage. I had your boy tired. I was up late.
It is Freaky Friday, Ray. You can get into it.
It is Feel Good Friday. It is Freaky Friday if you participate in the holiday that we have over here. We had a good time, but we are back. I'm excited. Haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. We did Bleacher Report yesterday, but it's good to be back in the building. And JRich, as good as it is to see you, my friend, as good as it is to see you and to talk to you, it's better to see the people. And I see the people in the building already chatting it up. Some of y'all are a little late. Get it going. Hit the thumbs up button. We are back. Yes, we are live. And I see y'all in the building. Shout out to the wife, man. Wife in the building. She the baddest. We, 9 years of marriage. So that's where we were on Monday. That's where
Congrats.
we were on Wednesday. But we are back. So shout out to all the lovers out there, man. Shout out to all the lovers out there. Adam Zapp, what's going down with you? Rico, appreciate you saying congrats on the anniversary. Patrick, yes, good to be back in the building, man. Good to be back in the building. Kev in the building. I see Mike in the building. I see Jason in the building. Trader Rick, what's going on with you? TJ_001, what's happening with you, baby? And then I see Monkeypox right here, said he became a member. Shout out to you, my guy. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Much love, much love. Thank you for the support. Wake Up with Ray and Jay. We got a lot to talk about, JRich. We were not them boys last night. We were not them boys last night. And what makes this so frustrating for me personally, Jay, is I didn't get a chance to celebrate and bask and revel in that Thanksgiving Day victory for my Dallas Cowboys over the Kansas City Chiefs. And when we come back to the show, I don't even get a chance to do that a little bit longer because the Cowboys got some foot put on them last night by the Detroit Lions. We shall talk about that. Other things going on. There's a lot happening in the football world, Jay. College football going crazy. Lane Kiffin, all kind of coaching changes. Colorado's got their coaching waiting. But we ain't got enough time to discuss that today. I'll be putting out a video a little later today going over Brugler's mock, just talking through some of the stuff as we go into the NFL weekend, week 14, what the hell we're seeing, what we're hearing in the NFL. And some of these teams, Jay, talking about getting a quarterback, man. They're winning. They're winning games, so they got to trade a lot of future capital to go up and get that Mendoza, JRich, potentially. But we shall talk about it, my friend. How are you, my guy?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We had a good little vacation there. It wasn't Thanksgiving for me, but I certainly enjoyed the time off. But I hope you guys had fun. Happy anniversary, of course, to you and your wonderful wife. But good to be back, man. Good to be back. I enjoyed that time. Played a lot of video games, Ray. You got caught up in the Kurt Benkert Madden scandal.
Oh, that Madden, that Mutt scandal, JRich. I'm all in. I'm all in with that Madden Mutt. I got to get some of them packs, baby.
Yeah, shout out the Madden community, but just you have no idea how deep that shit goes when you start playing FIFA and all that stuff. And Ray, I got to tell you, man, because
what's up?
It made me laugh yesterday.
Talk to me.
I got called the N-word in a video game for the first time in about 15 years yesterday. Oh, and I don't think I've ever laughed harder.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever laughed harder. I didn't think people still did that. But
that 12-year out of Iowa let you have it, boy. He let you have it. Little Timmy let you have it.
But the problem, right, is my username is Black Jordan, right? people people used to see that and they would just
you are inviting a little bit of dissension and discourse there, JRich.
So funny,
but yeah,
man.
you don't let them 11-year-olds get to your skin. Don't let them ruffle your feathers, JRich. Just play your video game in peace. That's why when I play, I turn the mic off. I don't want to hear shit. Don't talk. Don't cuss me out. None of that. I don't want to. Don't get me off my game, JRich. So I'm unfortunate. I'm sorry you've had to go through that traumatic experience. I hope you recover, JRich. I hope you don't need therapy after that for the first time in 15 years. Doing better than me, baby. Doing better than me. But nah, good to be back. We got a lot to talk about, JRich. We got the people in the building. Make sure you run it up, hit the thumbs up button, like the content. Check out the content on the other channel, DDFFB. JRich, did the Trinity video get posted from Scott and I yesterday? Is that live for the public? The members version is up,
yeah. The member version is up.
Check that out, Trusted Trinity. We're getting to a different point of the fantasy season, of the Dynasty season, when we're not the week-to-week stuff. You kind of know who you're putting out there, but we're talking about what you should do long-term. Very interesting stuff. JRich, that old range of outcome tool for some of them players?
Ooh.
Spot on. Marv, Worthy, Odunze, all of them. Check it out, ddfantasyfootball.com. And I'm letting y'all know right now, there's going to be like a little Christmas upgrade to the tool, hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. JRich has seen it. Some other people have seen it. It is going to be very good for all of you out there that subscribe to the tool and use the tool and all that other good stuff. You'll see that very, very soon, and we'll talk about it on the show, Jay. But let's get right into it, man. Damn Dallas Cowboys, man. Golly. Woo, that defense was on fire, Jay. It had been playing great. They've been playing great defense. I'm pumping up that Quinn Williams, JRich, talking about that Williams, talking about that Eberflus. They went out there and got 44 put up on them. 44 by the Lions put up on them, and it looked like Detroit really, outside of running the ball, which they've been a little, unless Gibbs is going nuclear. I know Monty had a big run, but Gibbs didn't do a lot of damage on the ground. 3.6 an attempt. He had the 3 touchdowns, long at 19. They did a good enough job corralling them. But it seemed like every time Jared Goff dropped back to pass the ball, it didn't matter if there was some pressure on him or not. Only 1 sack by the Dallas defense. He was able to complete it to whomever, whenever he wanted to, right? 25 for 34, 309, 9 yards an attempt, 9 yards of completion, 1 touchdown for Jared Goff in this one. It wasn't a great game. QBR 45. There's been some QBR skeptics out there of late,
really?
But ultimately, man, he was efficient. It felt very bad very early for the Dallas Cowboys, JRich. It felt very bad very early, but the star of this game, especially for those of y'all trying to inch into the playoffs, you're squeaking in, you're trying to get by, was Jahmyr Gibbs. On the ground, 12 carries, 43 yards, not great. 3 touchdowns, incredibly great, right? 3 TDs, we love it. But then it was his involvement in the receiving game, JRich, 7 for 77 in the receiving game. And he broke Deron Bland's ankles multiple times out there trying to tackle Jahmyr Gibbs. He is tied with Barry Sanders for the most touchdowns before 24 years old, something like that, in NFL history with 47. JRich, 47 for Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, just how special of a weapon is Gibbs?
He's one of one, right? Like, that's what he is. He's one of one, and I think when you just look across the NFL, he's probably still in a situation where they're doing the most with the talent they have on top of that, right? We see a lot of talented players throughout the NFL. We know how talented all these players are just to make it in general, and Gibbs is still in the elite of the elite when it comes to the agility, the separators. We had that viral tweet when talking about Ashton Genty, right? And that whole scandal and all that stuff kind of going on. But Gibbs is showing you how much the speed, the change of direction, and the agility plays at the NFL level, right? And he is right at the top of the list when it comes to that type of stuff. And I think the Lions do a great job maximizing his talent. It's not that, Goff was great in the game. He was fine. There was definitely some moments where you thought he was looking a little bit shaky, but then he found Jahmyr Gibbs. And Jahmyr Gibbs got the first down. He made the big play. He advanced the ball up the field. The Lions did a great job, not just playing the field position game, which worked very well for them when they almost got that sack early in the game in the end zone for the safety. Then on top of that, they capitalized on their turnovers, right? I think Dallas turned the ball over 3 times, and Detroit Lions scored on all 3 of them. They did a great job scoring at the end of the half, right? everything went right for the Detroit Lions, and the Cowboys just couldn't quite come all the way back. They come very, very close, but the Lions ultimately put them away in the end, and the score is probably a little bit wider than the game really seemed, but with the turnovers, Dallas just couldn't overcome them.
The thing was, Dallas turned the ball over, Detroit didn't, and then Dallas couldn't stop Detroit. They just could not. They couldn't stop them. Defensively, they did the defensive schematic stuff that Matt Eberflus runs, and we'll talk about that in a minute, was off. One of the comments, man, says that Brian Branch, he got hurt late in that game. Achilles injury. Man.
That sucks because you probably have to have him out at least half the year next year, if not the whole year next year. He'll probably try and come back, but he won't be back for the start of the season, right?
Crazy.
And obviously we'll miss all of the playoffs rest of the season this year.
Crazy. That
sucks, man.
Yeah, that sucks. I did not know it was an Achilles. I didn't know what it was when he limped off the field. But Achilles injury for Brian Branch, not good for the Lions. But with that win, that puts the Lions, closer to the playoffs. 55% chance, I think, for them to make the playoffs. Now, I know a lot of people going in that game, JRich, we did not think we would see this man play, Amon-Ra St. Brown, but boy, he was on the field. And I'll just say this, if you were had low expectations and you just kind of threw him out there, okay, Amon-Ra's playing, I have to play him, 6 for 92 on 9 targets, JRich. 6 for 92. He was incredible. And you could tell he wasn't all the way 100%, but that's why he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. I know you think he's a little overrated, but 6 for 92, if you had to throw him in, you feel great about that outcome. And then Jameson Williams also had a 90-yard game, 96 yards. Kind of sucks because his over-under total, I believe, was 99.5 yards going into the game.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was when Amon-Ra was supposed to be out. When Amon-Ra was out, it was 99.5 for Jamo, something around there. I think maybe he hit the over depending on what it dropped to once Amon-Ra was declared into the game. But Jameson Williams, 7 for 96. He's been kind of a frustrating player to manage and decide when you're going to play him. And I saw somebody in the chat say they actually started Jameson Williams over Justin Jefferson this week. How do you think the pass catchers did in this one, all things considered? Neither of them got in the end zone, but you can't be too upset with the fantasy production from these two.
No, I mean, you look at Jameson Williams, he probably should have scored a touchdown, right? But his foot was out of bounds at the 1-yard line, and the touchdown ultimately went to Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, it's kind of funny because you look to Amon-Ra, you look to Jameson Williams, they're not those red zone threats, and it was Tesla that ended up scoring the touchdown because he is great in the air, right? This is the role that he can play in the offense, especially when Sam Laporta isn't in the game. That's a role that Tesla can fill very well, and he did a great job doing that. Sure, it's only 3 targets, but he got in the end zone and performed at a high level in the role that he can thrive in this offense. And then the receivers did their thing, right? It was more between the 20s. He couldn't quite get in the end zone, but you're never not going to take 90 yards from a receiver. They just didn't get in the end zone, and that's okay. Both of them came very, very close in this game. Just barely fell short, and then the touchdowns obviously went to Jahmyr Gibbs, and then Monty had that big run as well that gave him some fantasy value despite only having 6 carries. Yeah,
I do want to talk about this guy right here, Matt Eberflus. He's got to go, JRich. It's enough.
You're done with him now.
I'm done. He has got to go. Dallas has got to get him out of there, JRich. You goddamn man cornerbacks trying to play zone defense, not good at that. It's just time, right? When you're giving up repeated 40-yard performances, they did not show up in this game at all. We've been talking about the Dallas defense, how much better they'd been. They would get close to Jared Goff, but never close enough to actually sack him. I think it's time for Eberflus, this scheme. He's got to go. I'm a little disappointed with Schottenheimer. I think he was a little timid in the game. They're just kicking field goals left and right. Kicking field goals. You got to score the ball when you get in the red zone. You got to score the damn ball. Field goals aren't going to cut it. But Jay, the most disappointing player last night on that field, no doubt about it. It wasn't even close. I think it was his worst performance since being a member of the Dallas Cowboys team. George Pickens. And that's the version of Pickens that showed up last night. We don't even give him the number 3. We don't put the star on him on the screen. We got that Pittsburgh Steelers version of George Pickens where, and the surprising thing about it was he was targeted early in the game. The first couple he was targeted early in the game. Got downfield on a defensive pass interference call that was nullified because Jake Ferguson had his hands all up in Aiden Hutchinson's face mask. But Pickens, I mean, it was just lackluster. I don't know if you saw it the same way I did, Jay, but it looked like he was jogging on routes.
Piss poor effort from Pickens in this one.
Piss poor effort for a player that everybody in the sports media world was talking about this week. in line for a four-year, $125 million contract, upwards of $30 million per season. Jerry Jones came out to say, we're prioritizing him. We need Pickens back on this offense. And then you go out there and you put that up. I don't know if you heard Richard Sherman's comments, but he ripped them in the postgame for lack of effort, no hustle. He was jogging, not finishing routes. I don't know what was going on with Pickens last night, but pretty stank, embarrassing performance from George Pickens last night. He should be ashamed of himself once he watches that tape back, because the best receiver on the field last night, once CeeDee Lamb went out with the concussion, was Ryan Flournoy, not George Pickens.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, with Pickens, it's tough because we kind of, I'm not going to say we know that he can be like this at times, a little bit temperamental, a little bit in his feels, you know, whatever the case may be. We don't know why he was, you know, playing the way that he did, because it didn't look like the George Pickens we've seen for many previous weeks. It's hard to explain, right? But he's still second in the NFL in receiving yards. He's still up there in touchdowns. He's still, you know, at the end of the year going to have a great stat line. And so, but I'm curious if a game like this maybe doesn't sway Dallas, but it's going to come up in negotiations. Like, this is a big game we had to have, and you didn't show up. CeeDee showed up. Ryan Flournoy showed up. So why are we paying you all this money if you're not going to show up in every game that we play? Because, you know, for everything that we've seen from CeeDee, he's had his good games and his bad games, but he still shows up in every game. He still gives it his all in every game, right? And he's being paid to do that. If Pickens wants to be paid to do that as well, he probably needs to do the same thing. And I think just what we've seen from George Pickens in the NFL for 4 years, we know that these games happen, and it's whether or not you want to tolerate it if you're the Cowboys.
Yeah, somebody said the FBI needs to investigate George Pickens. Yeah, it's just for a player who is he's done everything right up to this point. You said it, second in the league in receiving yards, big play threat down the field. And then when you look at some of the intrinsic value that he brings, he's one of the league leaders in defensive pass interference yards called on him. So a lot of value that he brings, but he did not show it last night. That was a bad performance. Now they get some more time. CeeDee Lamb to heal up. That was a nasty-looking concussion. You saw the posturing at the end with the hands.
Yeah, it didn't look good.
Did not look good. They ruled him out quickly. Few extra days for him to recover for their matchup, I believe, against Minnesota next week. I believe the Dallas Cowboys play the Minnesota Vikings next week, and they're still mathematically in the playoff hunt, 9% chance to make the playoffs right now. They got to win out and then have a lot of other stuff happen for them to make the playoffs. Overall, though, you know, if you had your Lions, you feel good about the outcome. David Montgomery, who's sort of been definitely relegated to that backup running back role to Jahmyr Gibbs. He got loose for a touchdown, made the Dallas Cowboys defense look ridiculous once again. Wasn't a big touchdown day for Goff, but if you had to play him, you're good. And then Dak Prescott, 2 interceptions, both of them off of the receiver's hands. So you really can't blame that on Dak. Javonte Williams got in the end zone, and CeeDee Lamb was en route for a monster game, 6 for 121 before being injured. He was open. He was catching everything. All the panic about CeeDee and the drops a couple of weeks ago, hopefully those have long since dissipated with him. He's still an incredible receiver, and probably the best receiver bar for bar, pound for pound on this Dallas Cowboys team, JRich.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's just, where do they go from here? Because they do need a lot of help. But Ray, I think the better question is, do you think the Lions are back, having put 44 on the Cowboys? I think that's the bigger question for a lot of people, right? It wasn't, are the Detroit Lions a good team? We know they're a good team. They have a strong foundation. The defense, a little bit shaky at times. But next week, they have to go to LA and play the Rams. Do you think they can even be competitive in that game? Or do you think they kind of revert back to what we've seen, which is a little bit more inconsistent and the defense is a little bit shaky?
Yeah, I mean, I think they could. I'm not going to say that they're back, because I don't think that they're back. I don't think this is the same. And I don't think that's an unfair assessment. I think Lions fans would also say this is not the same team that we had with Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. But they did come away with a victory against a team that was red hot, a team that had just beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. They had just beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. They were riding high. People were saying, hey, with this defense, this is a Super Bowl contending team. And defensively, they did enough, man. I mean, they had the left tackle for Dallas looking crazy as hell all night. Dak Prescott sacked 5 times. They strapped up the slant route from George Pickens. Yes, CeeDee got his, and you're probably not going to stop every single portion of an offense, especially with that defense, Terrion Arnold on IR. But good victory for the Detroit Lions. Good. They needed that. It was a home game for them. They handled business on Thursday night. I saw somebody in the chat say Dallas has played a lot of football over the last couple of weeks. So have the Detroit Lions.
I mean, they played the same schedule essentially, right?
Kudos,
so it's not really a big
to them
deal
for
there.
getting it done, man. You can't I mean, they got the damn thing done, right? So
Yeah.
that's that. Good win for Detroit and a very, very bad loss for Dallas Cowboys and an even worse loss. Look for George Pickens in that game, JRich. All right, let's move to one of the games that I'm really excited to see, right? We weren't here on Wednesday. We weren't here on Monday. So I saw somebody say, did we recap the Week 13 slate? No, I mean, we're a damn week past that, right? We weren't here on Wednesday, Monday. We're not really talking too much about Week 13 in particular. We're just looking ahead here to Week 14. JRich, but the Cincinnati Bengals,
Okay.
Buffalo Bills game. That's where we're going to go next. Talking a little Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen and what should be a very entertaining game. The last I checked, Jay, I think it was a 53.5 point spread total in this game. Where are we at? Yeah, 53.5 point total in this game. Buffalo favored by 6.5, 5.5 on the road at home against Cincinnati. We were on Bleacher Report yesterday. Every Thursday we do our NFL picks, and we both picked the Cincinnati Bengals to upset the Buffalo Bills in this matchup. Jay, I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game from both sides of the ball. From the Cincinnati side, it doesn't appear like we're going to have T. Higgins in the game. T is back.
Potentially,
or
yeah.
Trending
Practiced
like he's
full,
coming back.
Yeah, he practiced in full yesterday, and so he hasn't actually cleared concussion protocol yet, but he's definitely trending towards playing this game, which is good because we obviously want to see the full complement of weapons with Joe Burrow. But yeah, T. Higgins hopefully back for this game against Buffalo. We just need him to officially clear the protocol, but practicing in full yesterday, probably will again today, is probably a really good sign he's going to play on Sunday.
Listen, the Bengals should be able to find success against this Bills defense. They have not been good, particularly this season, but over the last few weeks, this defense has not played very well. Joe Burrow shocked me more than damn near anybody. For a player who essentially has missed the entire season, for him to come back versus Baltimore on Thursday night and look like he didn't miss a beat. I mean, and there was obviously some plays that they did not make because the timing with he and Chase just a little off, right?
Yeah.
They got to work that, get the timing together. No T. Higgins on the field. This Cincinnati offense, Chase Brown's been running the ball well. You've got Burrow back. Jamar Chase, another week removed from his suspension, right? Another week of practice with Joe Burrow. I expect him to be able to move the ball pretty effectively against Buffalo's defense, Jay. What it's really going to come down to is Josh Allen. And what's the Buffalo Bills game plan this week, right? James Cook, 30-something plus touches last week. Monster game for James Cook. It's like, oh, yeah, he is one of the best running backs in the NFL. And then you look, second in the league in carries, second in the league in rushing yards. Like, lean on James Cook versus this Bengals defense. We all know that it's historically bad. We talked about it before the break, how bad the damn defense was against tight ends. And we didn't recap Week 13, but they gave it up versus the tight ends versus Baltimore. Isaiah Likely had a big plays. Mark Andrews was making plays out there. But is Dalton Kincaid back? How healthy is he? If he's not there, do you really think it's going to be Jackson Haas or Dawson Knox? Like, where do the Bills go for their offensive production? Or is it just really, truly number 17, Josh Allen, this is the game where he gets it back? Because the past couple of games, since that 6-touchdown performance, he's been 100-something yards last week, touchdown, interception. Like, this should be kind of a get-right spot for Josh Allen too, right?
I mean, we're going to see, right? It's going to depend on the weather, first and foremost, because it's going to be cold. It could be snowing, right? Like the Northeast, people who don't live here, it's been snowing a lot recently, and especially the temperature is dropping a lot in the evenings. Like, I think it was below 0 yesterday, where I am, close to Toronto. Buffalo, obviously not too far. It gets a little bit warmer, closer to the water, but they also get a lot more snow as a result. The big thing for me, Ray, is that if you're asking me to bank on a rushing attack, it's not that I would bank on Chase Brown over James Cook, because I absolutely wouldn't. James Cook is second in the NFL in rushing. But why can't Chase Brown do what James Cook can do against this Buffalo defense that is giving up the second most yards per game in the NFL right now? Like, I think that's the bigger problem, is that Cincinnati, we know, can throw the football because they have two of the better pass catchers in the NFL in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in Joe Burrow. Offensive line be damned. They're going to be able to throw the football pretty much any circumstance. But if they can run the football as well, now you have a situation where it's like, well, how is Buffalo going to stop this team? Because we know the passing attack's going to be good. Chase Brown's been running the ball very effectively, and I think that this offensive line is playing better week over week. And then if you're Cincinnati, you have one job. Don't let James Cook go crazy. That is the only way, pretty much, that you get stomped in this game. So that's where, for me, it's like, Would I play a Khalil Shakur if I had to in fantasy? Sure, he's the number 1 wide receiver, but do I expect him to do much of anything? Absolutely not. Josh Allen has been inconsistent. If the weather conditions are poor, it's not going to be great for the passing game anyways, which probably helps Buffalo a little bit. But at the end of the day, like, I just think that offensively, Cincinnati has so many more weapons that they're going to be able to put up more points than Buffalo will. And I just don't like the way Buffalo is playing. I mean, they lost to the Dolphins. They lost to the Texans. They did beat the Bucs in a very high-scoring game, but if this can be a high-scoring game, I'd just rather bet on Burrow than Allen because I just don't like the way Buffalo is playing right now. And more importantly, Ray, the other side of this that I love is if they lose this game, they're playing for the AFC East crown in New England next week.
And why do you love that so much? Go ahead and flex it to people. Why do you love that so much?
Because I'm going to be there.
You're going to be at the game. You're going to be at the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the game. And the Pats are on bye this week, so they're going to be nice and rested going into that big game that hopefully will be for the AFC East crown. But yeah, Buffalo's got to win this game. And it's for seeding, but the Bengals obviously going to try and win it. They kind of beat down the Ravens last week, honestly. But that's where, for me, I just struggle with Buffalo because they don't look good. Like, beating the Steelers is not impressive. The Steelers are god-awful. You asked me to put the Steelers against just about any team, I would probably still pick the Dolphins over the Steelers right now. That's how bad and how awful I think the Steelers are, because defensively they're not that good, but it's just a different animal going against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, and Chase Brown. So I think the Bengals can win this game. I don't know if it's going to be handily.
No, it's not.
I would not be shocked.
I would not handily.
But would you be shocked if the Bills just laid an egg at home? Because I honestly wouldn't.
I guess I would be.
We've seen them do it.
Yeah, I would be shocked because they normally don't lay eggs at home and they're normally competitive games. So would I be shocked? Yes. Do I think it's outside the realm of possibility that Cincinnati's offense just goes in there and they're dialed up, ready to go? Nah, man, that offense is good. But Burrow's just...
He's a very good quarterback.
He's exceptional. And I mean that at the highest degree. He is exceptional. And I think Jamar Chase is as well. We all know that. And Chase Brown's been playing well. So I'm with you. How do you feel about Keon Coleman real quick? How do you feel about Keon Coleman? As a no-go?
I think there's got to be better options, right?
There's got to be better. There's got to be a better.
You're hoping he scores, but there's got to be better options.
You're probably up Schitt's Creek without a paddle if that's your best option.
Give me Luther Burden in Wisconsin.
You'll start Luther Burden over Keon Coleman?
I think I would, yeah. Although Odunze didn't practice yesterday, so
Dontavian Wicks or Keon Coleman.
Are you kidding me?
Easy Wicks. I'm just looking through names.
Although Reed may be back. I haven't seen anything about Reed's practice reports this week. I was just kind of scrolling through them this morning. But hopefully Reed is back as well. But even if he's not back, I still would play Wicks because Wicks has been pretty good. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got to be down bad to put that Coleman in there, JRich. Let's talk about another AFC matchup and I again, man, this might be one of the better games on the slate. Even though the team's records aren't like 8-4, 9-3, but we got the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs, JRich. Houston, yes, Kansas City, and every single week we come on here and we talk about this is a must-win for Mahomes. It's a must-win for Kansas City. Like, they need to win this game. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs, if they
this
want,
is a must-win.
This one is a must-win game, and I'm telling y'all right now, we ain't even starting off with Kansas City. We're starting off with Houston, JRich, because this team, after starting off, weren't they like 0-3 to start the season? People were, what's going on with D'Amico Ryan? Should he be on the hot seat? This is why you don't hire defensive head coaches. That defense is humming. Offensively, they got C.J. Stroud back last week, and he was not perfect, Jay, but he got the ball to the playmakers. He got the ball to Nico Collins. He got the ball to Jaden Higgins. Dalton Schultz continued to do his thing. Nick Chubb found the end zone. Woody Marks toted the rock 19 times. Like, it's a balanced offense. It's not a great offense, but it's a balanced offensive attack with enough weapons to threaten defensive coordinators. And then when they do get a lead or they do get up and you are forced to throw the ball, man, this damn defense is no joke at every level. Everyone just focuses on Hunter and Will Anderson, but their linebackers are good. Their secondary is phenomenal. Like, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense in Houston, and they're starting to get hot right at the right time. As we look around at all the different divisions in the NFL, this AFC South race might be the most competitive down the stretch.
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason why I want Houston to win this game. You picked Houston, I picked Kansas City. I went with the chalk.
You did go with KC. I
in
picked
a prime
Houston
time game. But yeah, 7-2 since that first 3 games. And Ray, just to give some credit to Houston, because people don't really even realize this. Week 1, they lost at LA to the Rams by 5 points, right?
Okay.
They lost at home to the Bucks by 1 point the next week. Then they lost to the Jags by 7, which was a little bit worse. They lost to the Seahawks on the road in Seattle, and they lost to Denver at home. Like, these are all teams that are at the top of their conferences, right? The Rams, top of the NFC. The Bucks leading the division in the NFC South. The Jags are at the top of the AFC South. The Seahawks near the top of the NFC as well. Like, the Broncos obviously going to be at the top after
they
they
didn't
win
lose the
this week
scrubs.
against the Raiders.
They didn't lose the bum
Right, they're not
teams.
losing to bad teams. When they play bad teams, they tend to win. They beat the Titans. They beat the Ravens, right? They beat the 49ers. And now they have the Chiefs. So the question is, Ray, are the Chiefs a good team? Or are the Chiefs a bad team? Because it really depends on which Chiefs team shows up. At home, they have been great, though. Chiefs at home, I believe, this season are 5-1, and they're like 1-5 on the road right now. So that's the big difference when it comes to this Chiefs team. At home, they've been significantly better. Mahomes at home, especially in primetime games, is phenomenal. I believe the record is 18-3 in home primetime games since being a starter in 2018. But I don't discount Houston in this game. You talked about the defense, how great it is. Number 1 scoring defense, top 5 against the pass, top 5 against the run. The only defense in top 5 for both. They're going to make Mahomes' life hell every single time he drops back. But can this Houston team put up the points on the KC defense? And that's always going to be the question. It's the same question for Denver every week. Can the offense score enough points to help out the defense? But in Houston's case, it's even worse because this team just can't score at all. I think that Stroud did look pretty good in Indy, but if the conditions are bad in Kansas City this weekend, I don't know if Stroud's going to be able to overcome that, because we know that Mahomes can play in the cold and this team really shows up at home.
All right, JRich. So I'm looking through the injuries, right? We did not touch on this. Kansas City did lose offensive tackle Josh Simmons. He was placed on injured reserve yesterday, JRich, on Wednesday. So he's placed on injured reserve. No left tackle. It does look like and guard Trey Smith did not practice on Wednesday either. I don't know what happened on Thursday. Trey Smith didn't practice, starting guard.
Well, Smith was out. He was out last week too, wasn't he?
He was out last week.
Yeah.
Jawan Taylor, the other tackle, did not practice on Wednesday either.
Yeah. It's going to be tough, man. They got Will Anderson, Dale Hunter are going to be on Mahomes' ass the whole game.
Listen, all I'm saying is I'm looking like Mahomes right here. Like, what the hell? Both my tackles not at practice. My guard not available, potentially. We know Simmons is out. If he's down Taylor and Smith, I think this makes it very, very difficult. The Chiefs are at home, so I don't want to discredit them. But, man, where does Mahomes turn to, Jay? Because offensively, it's been Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, and Rashee Rice. And as good as Mahomes is, they've got to find some other playmakers inside this offense. It has not happened for Xavier Worthy this year, JRich. It has not happened for him this year. Hollywood Brown, he doesn't play. He plays a few snaps a game, it feels like. He doesn't do a damn thing. Pacheco's back, doesn't matter. Kelsey, you don't know what version of Kelsey you're going to get week in and week out. Like, how do the Chiefs get this done? Like, where does it – is it just all Rashee Rice? Do they say, all right, we're going to put Stingley on him. We're going to put Stingley on him, and then you're forced to throw the ball to somebody else.
I think that's the hard part with the Chiefs, is that whether it's this game or any other game, much like the Buffalo Bills, I don't know how they win football games, but they do. Right? Because they have all this talent on the roster, but they aren't able to get the ball to these guys. Mahomes doesn't have the time to do it. They can't run the ball effectively. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense why they win football games, because they don't even have a James Cook that can literally take over a game basically by himself. They just find ways to win football games, and most of the time it's with Mahomes with his legs, right? Like, the key to victory for me, Mahomes, you're going to be under a lot of pressure. Just get out there and run for 40, 50 yards, whatever it is. Like, I think that's the key to victory for them. They're going to get the ball to Rice, and he's probably going to play pretty good in this game because he's been fairly consistent. But outside of that, there's nobody I trust.
It's tough, man. It's absolutely tough. It's tough to watch the offense. It's tough to watch them miss the downfield throws. But you always say it, man. They find ways. But this year they're 6-6. They're 6-6. So I'm excited for this matchup, JRich. This should be a damn good game. Let's go one more before we go to the break real quick. Let's go one more, Jay, before we go to the break. And let's quickly talk about the return. The return, JRich. He's back.
The return.
Your boy is back in the building this week. 9 is back. Go figure. Jay, we didn't get a chance to recap this one, but exactly what we said would happen, it happened, right? Max Brosmer got out there versus damn Seattle and looked awful. And you know what?
So bad.
You know, I'm not even mad at Max Brosmer. What the hell did
no.
you expect? UDFA quarterback, rookie, right? Rookie UDFA quarterback, first NFL start on the road against the damn Seattle Seahawks. And it went exactly as you would expect it would. Who didn't have to face that struggle? JJ McCarthy, who JRich, I thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought when you have concussions, you don't travel cross country with the team, right? You don't fly on that airplane, right? That cabin pressure, you know, GQ flies quite a bit, JRich. That cabin pressure can make that head hurt, man. He's on the sideline clapping it up for his team. Yeah. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought he should have been at home, resting and recuperating in the dark, but he was on the field. Didn't want that smoke versus Seattle, but now he's got to face off against the Washington Commanders. He's got a home. It's a home matchup, friendly environment. Commanders aren't very good. I picked Washington to win the game, Jay. I picked them to win the game. The whole time we've been on the show, you know what people have been talking about in the chat? What do we do with Justin Jefferson? Do I start Jefferson this week? I think one of the members, Kev, said he put Jamo in over him. Feels great. Play Jamo over Justin Jefferson this week. Talk about your boy JJ McCarthy back in the building. 9 is back at home versus Washington.
Yeah, 9 is to go against number 2 in Jaden Daniels this week, who should be returning. He's been practicing and should be back for this game in Minnesota. Interesting contest, Ray. We have the 1-4 at home Minnesota Vikings versus the 1-5 on the road Washington Commanders. So a battle for the bottom in the NFC. But I think the big thing for me is that the biggest takeaway from last week was the Washington Commanders offense actually looked pretty good playing against Denver's defense. Say what you want about Denver's defense. Sometimes they look good. Sometimes they look kind of so-so, especially against the pass. Pat Surtain coming back and kind of reacclimating him to the defense probably didn't help. But overall, Terry McLaurin being back and seeing Deebo Samuel,
good.
Zach Ertz.
Terry looked good.
Yes, it's Mariota, but hopefully it can look even better with Jaden Daniels. And even if it doesn't, having everyone back showed itself on the field. And we just can't say that about Minnesota. Aaron Jones not going to play in this game. Wheels up Jordan Mason, maybe, but he should be the only back in town. So you should feel okay starting him. But Jordan Addison, I don't know, man. Like, if you're desperate, but it's the same with Jefferson. It feels like a desperation play at this stage. If you're trying to get into the playoffs in a fantasy league, you do not feel confident playing Justin Jefferson. And you shouldn't. J.J. McCarthy's been awful. Can he play decent against this Washington defense? I do think so. It's not like the Washington defense is that good. But I still don't trust this offense. I just don't. They haven't played well at home. They've been very susceptible. And I think if I was to pick one player who would have a huge game, the answer is Deebo Samuel. Because Deebo Samuel in the slot, Zach Ertz in the slot, going against a blitz-heavy Brian Flores, there's going to be holes and gaps behind those blitzers. And JD5 does a great job processing those blitzers and getting the ball out quickly to those playmakers. So those are the two guys I think you could look to have big games this week. But on the Minnesota side, there's literally nobody. I don't want to start anybody with JJ McCarthy at the helm.
We can't do that, though, Jay. We got to apply a little pressure because it's a real thing that people are wrestling with this week. Do I play Jefferson? Do I play Addison? But why are you
wrestling with it?
Do I play hot? Because if you do bench him and then Jefferson goes off, you feel like a damn idiot. Why on earth did I listen to them? I benched Justin Jefferson. He's a superstar receiver. And even though shit looks awful right now, we know that he's capable of it, right, Jay? If McCarthy could get it to him, if he could get it in the vicinity, and all of the participation metrics for Jefferson, like he's still team leader in targets. He's still getting the lion's share of the opportunity. It just hadn't been good, right? And I do want to echo this. I'm not giving Max Brosmer any shit. He played awful, but what do you expect, man? Y'all threw him out there. Somebody said in the chat, he took that bullet. He took that bullet. I've got no hate. Brosmer, and the crazy thing about it, Jay, I'm watching that game, and they're down big late. He's already thrown like 3 picks, fumbling the ball left and right. And you know what Kevin O'Connell did? Keep throwing it. Keep throwing.
JJ McCarthy's in the game.
JJ McCarthy ain't gonna do that with him, man. This is, whether it's true or not, I'll just say this. The way that this situation has played out this year, it opens the door for that type of conversation. You can't get mad at it, whether you're a JJ McCarthy supporter or a naysayer. The way Minnesota has kind of handled this situation from the preseason, he doesn't need to play. he's better. Not like the way this is played out. It's just a bad look. It's just
been
a
very
bad
mismanaged, and he's been mismanaged from the beginning. And he's being coddled at an extremely high rate right now.
Yes.
Like, that's the biggest thing.
Yes.
This is the NFL,
Yes.
right? We've seen players protected before. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I can't remember a player being protected to this extent in a while. Like, at least probably, I'd say 3, 4, 5, maybe even more years. JJ McCarthy is being coddled like a lot. And people can say, oh, he was injured, blah, blah, blah. Like, look, I'm not saying he wasn't injured, but come on, man. This guy missed like 6 weeks with an ankle injury, and Amon-Ra St. Brown missed about 5 days and some practices. And it was the same injury. Like, it wasn't like he had a reported high ankle sprain. It's just, I don't understand it. He gets, he's had multiple concussions this year? Like, he's missed games at 3 different stretches throughout the season, and he's looked awful every time he's played on the field. So it's like, I understand you want to protect your young quarterback, but at least go out and do what Shedeur Sanders does, what Dylan Gabriel does, and they get protected too. But they still go out and they play and they do their best to try and win the game. And it's like, Kevin O'Connell wants him to succeed so much because all of his eggs, all of Kwesi's eggs are in this JJ McCarthy basket. And what we see on the field is a failed product from the top down, from the GM all the way down to the player. And the story's not over yet, but it certainly doesn't look good. Certainly
does not look good. Way to wrap that up, JRich. Way to put a bow on that. All right, we got to go to break. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream. When we get back, we got to talk Caleb Williams, Micah Parsons. We got to talk some Emeka Egbuka and Rome Odunze, JRich. And then we got some other things that we'll touch on before we get out of here. Yeah, Jay Sully, good to be back today. Says go Niners. Niners on that bye week, baby. Bye week. And Ricardo said it as we get out of here. 9, JRich. That's how many years of marriage my wife and I celebrated the other day.
Nice.
9 years of marriage. All right. Hit the thumbs up button, like the content. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the show. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay every Monday, every Wednesday, and every single Friday during the NFL regular season right here over on the channel. Hit the thumbs up button if you're here. Like the stream. Get that algorithm stuff popping. Check out all the other content on this channel and over on the fantasy football only channel, DDFFB. You know, Jay, as we get closer to the end of the season, we will shift the content schedule over here up. And I think this year, what we normally do is we chop down Wake Up and we only go once a week. But I may still stream live same time in the morning. We just shift the focus to the draft content, mock draft stuff. Like it'll just be a different vibe of a show since, you know, fantasy football is damn near over. But check out all the content over there. Subscribe to the channel over there. JRich, I think one of the underrated stories or things that I saw happening during my time away was what's going on in Cleveland. JRich, you know we can't have a show without talking about the Cleveland Browns. And somebody was back on the field for Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, JRich. Deshaun Watson, JRich.
Whoa.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
No, we can't
Deshaun Watson may be back sooner rather than later. And my initial thought was, how the hell did he come back from re-tearing his Achilles so fast? Is this just a stunt, a ploy? What's going on? And then I started to think about it a little more, Jay. You know, if Watson does come back, I bet you this offense would look infinitely better than it has with Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel. I mean, as bad as we thought Watson was prior to the stuff going down and the Achilles injury, he would probably look 1,000,000 times better than the quarterbacks right now in Cleveland. Is he going to get on the field? Is Watson going to play before the end of the season, JRich? Is he going to play for the Cleveland Browns?
So to add context to this story, right, the Browns opened up Watson's 21-day window to return on Thursday. Now, is he going to play is another conversation. It's reported that Watson will reportedly stay on the bench, but they may bring him onto the 53-man roster by the time the Week 17 deadline comes about. And if he is not put on the roster, he will be reverted to season-ending IR. Now, the question is like if you're the Browns, why would you bring him back? Week 17, week 18, like, what is the point? We know your season's over now, and it's week 14. But I'm kind of with you, Ray. I've been holding the Deshaun Watson bag since back in 2020, 2021, when it was, buy that Deshaun Watson.
When he was QB2, there was a long time. Some of y'all may not remember, but following, it was the 2019-2020 season, that was QB2. In Dynasty.
And he led the NFL in passing yards.
And missed games that year and still led the league in passing yards. That version of Deshaun Watson's long gone. But this current double Achilles tear version.
You know who this version is, Ray?
Who's this version?
Post-scandal Tiger Woods. That's what Deshaun Watson is. When he was doing everything behind the scenes,
man.
He was the best player imaginable. Then he gets caught. What happens?
He gets caught.
All downhill from there. Superpower goes away, right? That invincibility, it's just all gone now. But, I mean, Deshaun Watson's 30 years old. Maybe he could come back. And especially if you're the Browns, honestly, like if we're being very honest about the Browns, drafting a QB in 2026 would be idiotic.
You think so? Everybody in Cleveland wants them to draft one of those quarterbacks.
I know they want a new quarterback. And I agree with you. But this is not the year. It's just not. Like, you could probably get a better quarterback or a similar quarterback at 10 next year that you'd have to pay up to get in the top 3 this year. But I understand where you're coming from in the stance. Like, we want that quarterback so we can start, making strides forward, progressing the franchise, all of these things. But I think you probably can continue to build around the roster, build up the roster. Like, people don't talk about how great of a draft Cleveland had. Getting Mason Graham was a great trade down.
Absolutely.
Look at what happened with Hunter. Like, they're making good moves. But if you blow your load this year using multiple draft picks on a quarterback, I think that's a mistake.
Mercy, I'm about to bust.
Listen,
I think that's a mistake.
Jay, this game, we're not going to talk about this game. It's a 33.5 point total. It's the lowest on the slate.
Shador versus Ward? Battle for QB1 or probably QB3 behind Shuck and Dart?
Dart's in a different battle for the people's QB1, the black QB1, black Twitter's QB1. I mean, there might be cookouts galore this weekend. It's just going to be cookouts, barbecues, family reunions, spades. You know how to play spades, JRich? You know how to play spades? I know you don't know how to play spades.
I don't know how to play spades.
You have no clue how to play spades. No. That's what's going down. Shador versus Ward. Battle for the people's champ at QB. It is going to be a nasty game, too. It is going to be a nasty game. The best thing about this game, honestly, is Myles Garrett could set the sack record in spectacular fashion in this one because Ward allows about 5 sacks a game, and I think Garrett needs 4 to break the record. So we are all on Myles Garrett watch. Jay, let's get to a real game, though. Let's get to it. Well, it should be a real game. 2 6-6 teams, and I'm talking about it's a real game.
Oh, I thought we were getting to the real game.
No, we'll save that one. 2 6-6 teams, JRich.
This is not a real game. This game's gonna be terrible.
Lamar at home. There are a lot of playoff implications in this Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. AFC North battle. Both teams 6-6. Aaron Rodgers trying to get it done with the broken wrist. Lamar Jackson, everything broken with Lamar. The Ravens went out there and gave Mark Andrews $39 million. Isaiah Likely gone. JRich, gone at the end of this season. He's going to get paid a lot of money to play tight end somewhere else. Steelers offensively, DK Metcalf looking like a damn bust. Top 5 paid wide receiver all time. My goodness. Pittsburgh, what are you doing? Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, probably the best things that this offense has going right now. And on the Baltimore side of the ball, I don't know, Jay. I don't want to start no damn Zay Flowers. I don't want to put. I don't want these guys, man. It's Derrick Henry. My bold prediction for Yahoo this week: Derrick Henry RB1 on the week. Multi-touchdown game versus Pittsburgh. Run the ball, run the damn ball, Baltimore. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, someone was asking about Lamar not practicing yesterday. It was just a maintenance day. Greg Roman already said that he expects Lamar to play in the game. Yep. But yeah, the answer is Derrick Henry. And the only answer in this game is Derrick Henry. You're not, I mean, it's funny. I was going to say, you're not starting DK Metcalf. Maybe you are. Like, you don't want to because he's been awful. But Aaron Rodgers is terrible. Like, he was bad before, and he's worse now, and he didn't even break his throwing hands. So I'm not really
stinks,
sure.
Man. The team stinks too. But the team stinks too. Jay, this is one we said from the very beginning of the year. What did I say about the ingredients? It didn't go together. Like, it doesn't go together, man.
That's fair.
The offense is constructed so poorly. You don't have a second wide receiver. Your number one receiver is probably best as a number two. And you got him trotting out there, expecting him to win quickly. He's fine when you get him the ball, but nobody's losing sleep over defending DK Metcalf. And over the last couple of weeks, it seems like the second best option in the receiving game is damn Darnell Washington. He's a refrigerator, legitimately, bigger than the fridge. He's huge, right? But the team was just not put together well. Broderick Jones is injured. Yeah, man. Rodgers hasn't been good either, and I'm not making excuses for Karen Rodgers. But the team is just bad.
But that's where, you can talk about the team. And definitely, I think, from the threat standpoint, right? The NFL has figured out that Aaron Rodgers can't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. So what do? You play close to the line of scrimmage, and you force him to throw it over the top. And I'm not going to say he can't do it, but he doesn't do it. Everything he throws is short and quick.
Who's down the field 10-plus yards for Pittsburgh to get the ball thrown to him?
Is DK Metcalf not 6'4" and runs a 4.3? Am I mistaken?
I mean, he ran a 4.3 10 years ago.
Am I mistaken? He is still 6'4" and can run it probably, at least a 4.5?
Yes, he's fast.
Why can't you throw him a go ball game? But they literally never do. And I'm not saying they should or he's very effective in that way, but it's like you need to have a threat to go over the top.
Well, it ain't DK Metcalf.
They just don't have it, right? So when you're a defense and you're facing off against a team like the Steelers, you just got to stop the run. You stop the run, you're fine. If they throw it short, who cares? So they're going to go 12 plays down the field every play and score? No, they're not, because NFL teams can't do that. So they're playing against Baltimore. Kyle Hamilton's probably going to have a spectacular day because he's going to stand 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. He can blitz. He can still cover. No one's faster than him on the back end. Like, I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to do in this game, but as long as Baltimore can stop the run, they can win this game 10-6, easily get in and get out of there. I don't think Baltimore's offense looks great. People are saying Zay Flowers. Someone asked Zay Flowers or Justin Jefferson. I would start Jefferson over Flowers, mainly because he's playing indoors as well. I think that helps Jefferson a lot. And he's a better player on top of that. But no confidence in Lamar. Like, I think the problem is, Ray, is how far down a rankings list would you have to go to get to Lamar?
Well, let me just say this. You keep saying, why don't they just throw him a go ball? He runs a 4.3. Well, he's not. The reason why that is kind of like irrelevant is because you're not getting free releases, man. Like, you're not just lining up and running straight down the field. They're putting hands on chest, and he's not quick enough, right, to consistently defeat that. So, he might be able to run a 4.3, but when I've got good technique, when I've got hands, when I've impeded your route, I don't need to run a 4.3 to keep up. Like, he's not good at separating, right? He's not good at separating, and that's the issue why they don't just go out there and throw him go balls. It's first of all, it's a low percentage pass in the first place, and then you just compound that with a guy that can't get open. You can't get open like that, especially when the focal point is the number one. It's going to be a rough watch, but regardless if we like the game script and the environment or not, this is a big game for the AFC North. If Pittsburgh wins
someone's got to win, right?
Because Cincinnati's beat both of these teams. Think about that. The Bengals are at 4-8. They are still very much in the mix. Cincinnati wins. They've already beaten Baltimore. They've beaten Pittsburgh, Jay. So Cincy, if they
Cincy's
control
3-1 in division, Baltimore and Pittsburgh are both 2-1. Obviously, one team's going to go to 3-1 in division as well.
One team's going to fall to 2-2.
The problem is that if Cincy doesn't win, that team would have a 3-game lead.
They've got to win. They have to continue. They have to control their controllables.
The issue for Cincy is that one of these teams has to win this game. Right? That's the problem, is that if they win and Cincy wins, that team that wins is still 2 games up over Cincy with 4 games to play. But we'll see. It's very tough for Cincy to come back. I personally would love nothing more than for Cincy to win division, because I think they're the best team in the AFC North right now. And I wouldn't even say it's that close. If Lamar can get healthy, then of course it's the Ravens. But if he can't, and we don't know the extent of his injury.
Yeah, he's going to play. He's going to play.
He's going to play either
Listen,
way.
he's going to play. He's hurt. Don't expect him to run for no 90 yards. It's rough. It's a rough watch. Derrick Henry game. And I will say I do like Kenneth Gainwell a lot. Desperation flex play.
Okay.
Jaden Reed, Rashid Shaheed, or Adam Thielen. My God. Neither.
Thielen on the Steelers?
Not Thielen. Not Shaheed either. He hadn't done a damn thing in Seattle. They're
Reed,
giving him reverses.
We don't even know
just
if
to touch
Reed's
the
going to be
ball.
on the field, though.
And I don't know if Reed's going to play. Find somebody else. Third down, Dylan. Find somebody else, man.
Third and Thielen?
Third, find somebody else. JRich, this is the one you want to talk about, right? This is the one you want to talk about. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams and the Bears going to Lambeau Field. Face off against those Packers, JRich. Going to Lambeau Field. Micah Parsons, this defense. Jordan Love, man, Jordan Love takes a lot of heat, but he's a good quarterback, JRich. He's an unconventional thrower of the ball. Sometimes there's some questionable decisions, but he's getting it done. Efficiency numbers for the spreadsheet watchers out there, very good for Jordan Love this year. Caleb Williams has got a Micah Parsons problem, though. JRich Parsons, another 12 sacks again this year. Just every year in the NFL, 12 sacks, 12-plus sacks, 12-plus sacks. He's playing great ball. The Packers defense, you know, they are one of the best units in the NFL when they are on. The Chicago Bears unit, JRich, they are running the ball. Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift and company, they are eating up chunk plays on the ground and quietly, defensively, this team over the last month, #1 in the NFL in takeaways. They are not giving the ball away. They're not turning it over. That's a recipe to win games. When you're creating turnovers and you're not giving the ball away, and you can control the game on the ground, very good recipe for success. Who it has not been good for is old Rome Odunze since the bye week. Has not been good for Rome Odunze. And honestly, none of the pass catchers really. I know DJ Moore scored twice, and we see flashes here or there, but by and large, Caleb Williams is not throwing for 250, 300 yards, and just a lot of missed opportunities and plays all over the field for this Bears receiving core. But talk about this game. Packers versus the Bears should be one of the better ones on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, for number one, it's can the Bears be as effective as they've been running the football? And I think they will be very effective. But this game, for me, it boils down to one thing and one thing only, and it's that turnover battle, right? Whoever wins turnover battle in most games does win, but this is a game where it feels more pivotal than any other game on the slate. You talked about how the Bears have the most takeaways in the NFL, #1 turnover differential. I believe they are almost doubling up the Rams, who are at +9, and the Bears are at +17, and the Rams are #2 in the NFL in turnover differential. But the problem is the Packers also have the fewest giveaways in the NFL with 8. They're the only team with 8 giveaways. Every other team has more than them. So is Jordan Love and this Packers team going to turn over the football or not? Because if they do, I think the Bears will take full advantage. But if they don't, I think this game's going to be extremely close, and ultimately the Packers do come away with a victory. I'm curious how the defense for the Packers plays, because we know how strong they can be, but I think that Ben Johnson's done a phenomenal job at scheming open players and making things very difficult. We saw how much trouble Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense had with the Chicago Bears on Black Friday. And another point, Ray, Ben Johnson is 3-0 against the Packers from his time in Detroit. So that's the other side of it, is that he's also played the Packers very, very well, and that was obviously with a different team, different offensive line, all that kind of stuff. But I think we've seen this year that we have to give Ben Johnson a ton of credit. He's done a phenomenal job with this team, whether it's from the scheme perspective, protecting Caleb Williams, which he's done ever since the bye week, which now is stretching almost 10 weeks going into this game. He's done a great job, and he's maximizing the talent on the roster. You have Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift looking like arguably the best running back duo in the NFL on a week-to-week basis, and I think they're going to have another great game this week. I think the Bears can keep it close, but ultimately the Packers will come away with the victory.
Man, I mean, every time we count Chicago out, they find ways to get it done. I mean, and to say that right now they're sitting atop the NFC, #1 seed right now if the playoffs were to start today, credit to Ben Johnson and the coaching job that he's done this year. And I don't think Caleb Williams gets a lot of credit either, because he's not out there throwing for 300, 400 yards a game, but he's done a good job of not turning the ball over, utilizing his legs when need be, and it really does look like they've embraced this run-first identity. And even when you think about the Lions, they weren't rushing to this degree and at the clip and the rate that the Bears are, But that game, that ground game was Monty Gibbs, and that set up the play action game for Jared Goff. That set up some of the deep dig routes and the crossers for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the shots to Jameson Williams. You're starting to see some of that come to fruition here in Chicago as well. But let's talk about the pass. We'll save it for the end. We'll do a whole segment, last 10 minutes of the show. Would you rather, just players? We'll just go fantasy edition, rapid fire. Would you rather? We'll talk a little Rome Odunze in that one. Kyle Monanga's played well. DeAndre Swift has played well also, JRich. I want to touch on a couple of other games before we get out of here, and we do that one. Indianapolis-Jacksonville, another big game. Another big game from a Colts team that since the bye, they've been kind of reeling, man. They left that game in Germany where Jonathan Taylor had 244 rushing yards versus Atlanta, and it looked like they were hitting the bye at the right time, right? It's been a long season. They get some rest, but since returning from the bye, JT has failed to reach 100 yards in any of the games, has not had over 100 yards in any of the games since the bye. Daniel Jones, he's playing on a broken leg, so I'm not going to knock him too much, but the offense just hasn't been as explosive in this game versus the Jags team listen, Jay, I wrote about it on Yahoo. I think this is a matchup where Trevor Lawrence could finish quite high in fantasy football. He's rated outside the top 12 for a lot of folks. I think he's got a shot to be a top 8 quarterback on the week with some upside for more with his legs on the ground, running the ball. He ain't perfect. He's probably going to turn the ball over, but right now, this Colts team seems to be reeling a little bit, and this Jags run defense is one of the best in the NFL, so another difficult opponent. Number one in the NFL, another difficult opponent for Jonathan Taylor. And for a less than healthy quarterback like Daniel Jones, I think this is a scary spot for Indianapolis to fall to 8-5 in this one. I picked Jacksonville to win. They're at home and they're dogs in this one. So I'd say the home upset for Jacksonville. And from a starter perspective, we'll talk about Brian Thomas Jr. Scott and I discussed it on Trinity. Jacoby Myers, especially with Parker Washington banged up right now. Yeah. Brenton Strange has looked incredible since coming back from his hip injury. BTJ, I don't know what it is, man. I honestly, was the fit just not right? Was the fit with Liam Cohen, is it just as simple as that? The fit wasn't right. I know he was injured with the ankle injury, but I don't foresee him coming back in and getting all the targets. Not with Strange there. Not with Jacoby Myers the way he's playing. What a fall from grace for BTJ this year. But talk about this game in particular, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, BTJ is tough because even last week, right, only had 3 targets and against the Titans when the Titans, surprise, surprise, couldn't do anything in the game like they do pretty much every single week and probably won't be any different this week. I mean, the Jags should win this game. Like, we talked about it on this show a few weeks ago and people are talking about it in the chat. Like, Indy, for everything they have not played particularly well. Daniel Jones hasn't played overly well. They've been losing games. They've done a good job of winning late and close during the season. And now they have a stretch where, they have to go to Jacksonville, where they historically haven't won in 10 years. And so they're trying to break that curse, even though, we've seen the turmoil both from the head coach and quarterback perspective on both sides. Somehow Indy hasn't won in Jacksonville since all the way back in 2014. I think the Jags are playing much better football. The Jags went through a stretch where they lost 3 of 4, maybe they lost 2 of 4 a few weeks ago. And we're like, we don't know about those Jaguars. Then they rip off 3 straight. And now you have a situation where the Colts are the team that's lost 3 of the last 4 games, except you lose to the Steelers. Like, come on, man. Look at how bad the Steelers are. Losing to the Texans is fine, but it was at home. We don't expect that. But the bigger concern, Ray, is they have not put up 20 points in back-to-back games. They routinely, every week of the season, going up to the bye week, they put up 20 points in every single game, but the Rams game and the Steelers game. Both those games they lost. And back-to-back weeks yet again, they can't score more than 20 points, and what happens? They lose. Now they're playing against the number 1 team against the run, and their best asset is their running back, Jonathan Taylor, that has been struggling. Teams have keyed in on Jonathan Taylor and forced Daniel Jones to beat them, and with that fractured foot, it's going to be even more difficult for him to get loose running the football, which is kind of the fail-safe if everything goes wrong. So, yeah, I got the Jags in this game. I don't know how I feel about Lawrence versus this defense, but the defense has played reasonably well on the Colts side. But I just think ultimately even the rushing attack for the Jags can do enough to win this game.
All right, Jay, I'm with you. I picked Jacksonville to win this game. I don't think it's going to be clean, Jonathan Taylor does have a difficult playoff stretch. I saw some people in the chat talking about very difficult.
Seahawks, Niners, Jags again.
Yeah. And the
Seahawks are number 2 in yards allowed rushing.
And he's struggled since the bye. He struggled since the bye. I'm not trying to fearmonger any JT stuff out there, but I do want to do some start sit stuff. Just some would you rathers, instant reaction going into the week. Like, how are you feeling about those players? You're not going to sit Jonathan Taylor, so we're not going to talk about him. Let's start with the quarterbacks, JRich. Lamar Jackson currently, you want to go Lamar? Because he's currently at QB8 on the week. Lamar Jackson.
QB8.
QB expert consensus rankings over on Fantasy Pro. Lamar Jackson, QB8.
I don't think I'd have him at QB8.
QB8 on the week.
I'd be pretty surprised. Give me some names.
Who do you want to do we got Lamar Jackson. Who are you most concerned about? Caleb Williams is at QB17 on the week.
No, I'm fine with Caleb. I think
you're fine with Caleb there. Okay.
I'd be fine to start him, yeah.
We've got Daniel Jones at QB14 on the week. Is that okay?
I'm a little nervous about Daniel Jones.
Trevor Lawrence, QB13 on the week, JRich.
Yeah, I definitely would be Lawrence over Jones for sure.
You would have Lawrence over Jones? All right. Let me just give you the top 10, all right? Allen, Dak, Stafford, Hurts, Goff, Mahomes at 6, Burrow, Lamar, Baker, and Bo Nix. That's your top 10.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
You good with Mahomes at 6?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
It's the biggest game of his season. I think.
All right, let's move on to a different position. Let's go wide receivers, JRich. And I do want to start off with Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver 13 on the week versus the Saints.
Good matchup.
It's interesting, and I know Matt Harmon wrote about this over on Yahoo earlier this week. The reaction that people get to Odunze right now. He's a must sit, not good, all this stuff. Emeka Egbuka has been just as bad. As bad. Over the last month of the season, he's averaging less than 10 points per game. He's had one 100-yard game and that was in week 10 versus, it might have been the Patriots or the Commanders, some team. He had 100 yards in that game. But since then, he barely gets 40 yards a game. He's got one touchdown, I think, in his last 7 games. For Egbuka, he's been pretty damn bad, too. Godwin's back. He looked good. Bucky's back. Baker's hurt. This matchup, he should smash. JRich, he should be good. But how are we feeling about Emeka as we inch towards those playoffs?
I mean, you could say it should be good, but the Saints are in the top 10 in passing yards allowed with only 187 a game. So it's not even like they're allowing a ton of yards through the air anyways, and it's because they're a very beatable team, right? Like, the Saints aren't a good team. And I believe, Ray, if I'm correct, Baker had an awful game the last time he played the Saints. It looks like, that was a game that was in New Orleans. They won 23-3, and I think Baker threw for like 100 yards in that game. And Emeka Egbuka had 9 targets, only 3 receptions for 33 yards in that game. It was actually the one just before that game against New England. So, I'm fine sitting Egbuka. It's funny because...
Wait, say that again. You said you're fine sitting him?
Yeah. I think he's a flex play at best. Right? If you're starting 2 or 3 wide receivers, he's probably not a top 36 receiver for me. He hasn't played that well. The Saints don't allow a lot through the air. We already saw them play a disgusting game against the Saints once, right? And I think that was a rattler game, to be fair. Might have been. All right, here we go. JRich, here we go. Give me the
Emeka Egbuka this week. Emeka Egbuka or Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson.
Egbuka or Christian Watson?
Christian Watson.
Egbuka or Ladd McConkey? Monday night versus Philly.
I'll take Ladd there.
Egbuka or Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
Egbuka or Michael Wilson, no Marv?
Is no Marv confirmed? Because if no Marv is confirmed, then yes,
let's do it both ways. No Marv is confirmed.
Then yes, Michael Wilson.
Marv is in.
Then I'd probably take Egbuka.
Egbuka or AJ Brown? Egbuka or AJ Brown?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
And the pass defense for the Chargers, I think, is in the top 3 or 4. It's very good, but I'd still take AJ Brown. Yeah, they're number 2.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else the chat wants. I saw somebody mention Brian Thomas Jr. I think he is going to be a trade candidate in the offseason. I think he is.
Absolutely.
I think he is. I think he is. Somebody said BTJ to the Bills, BTJ to the Titans. How would people feel about that? Man. Patrick wants to know, Lamar Jackson or Jacoby Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett.
You taking Jacoby over Lamar?
Because even if the Rams run away with that game, Jacoby's going to throw the ball probably 40. It's probably the best game script you'll have all year for Jacoby. Like it's the perfect one for him to just throw the ball 50 times and compile.
Yeah,
his
add him
way
in
to
the
top
chat.
12.
Add him in the chat. We got like 5 minutes left. Whatever you want us to kind of this or that for fantasy. Here's one right here. Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson. Must-win spot, JRich. Your answer
T-Law.
depends on this. Franz is going to come in here pissed off on Monday if this doesn't hit. T-Law or Lamar?
T-Law by a lot. Especially against the Steelers. The
I
Steelers
agree.
play Baltimore. They play Lamar very well in general.
I agree. And I didn't think I would say that, but he's not 100%. I would play man, that's just tough. You get to that point, and you're like Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson, and we're like T-Law. T-Law, right? Deebo Samuel or Emeka Egbuka?
Deebo.
Man, Jay. You
Against
are
Pittsburgh, Lamar
really
Jackson.
bearish.
These are Lamar Jackson's
Really
stats against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So he threw for 161, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. This is probably an old game now. But his most recent games, that was the MVP year, I think, or the near MVP year last year, where he threw 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, only 200 yards. But since then, he's only thrown for 2 touchdowns or more against them twice in 8 games. And he has a pick in every single game against the Steelers. So it's like he's barely thrown for 200 yards.
I didn't debate you on that one at all.
I don't think he's thrown more than 1 touchdown in this game. Right? He's never rushed, I think, for more than, or this is just passing yards only, but like they play him very well. The games are very close. Like, this is not a good situation for Lamar. It's just not. Like, that's my problem, is that I like Lamar a lot, but even against the Steelers, just in general, when he's healthy, he does not play very well against them.
Shout out to my dog Mitch, man. Mitch Carl, DFS and Donuts, man. Shout out to Mitch Carl, man, in the building. He said, come to my Bills. Talking about Brian Thomas Jr. There was one right here. Adonai Mitchell or Emeka Egbuka, JRich?
Am I crazy for saying A.D. Mitchell the way that he's played? And no, am I crazy for saying A.D. Mitchell the way that he's played? Who's been better the last few weeks, Ray? A.D. Mitchell or Emeka Egbuka?
I'm not gonna say.
And they got Miami this week.
I don't have good analysis or rhyme and reason why. I just like it can't continue. It can't continue, right? It just can't, versus the Saints at home. Come on.
But they already played the Saints, and he didn't have a good game. A.D. Mitchell has had 6 targets, 7 targets, and 12 targets in his 3 games with the Jets. This last game was the first time he caught more than 2 passes, but he did have 102 yards and a touchdown. And they're playing Miami. The only issue is that the weather may be god-awful in that game.
In Miami? It's Rain City?
It's in New York.
Oh, it's in New York?
Remember, it's in New York, so you'll get bad Tua in the cold.
All right, let's see if there are any more questions in here, any more this or that. Deebo or Hampton? Somebody's asking Deebo or Hampton.
Probably Deebo.
I saw Patrick had one in here. He had to start a couple of guys. Let me see if I could find it real quick. Here it is right here. I have to choose 3. I have to choose 3 between London, Odunze, Egbuka, Pierce, and Hampton. If London is back, you playing him. If he's 100%. Back, you're playing him. 100%.
100%.
You're playing Omarion Hampton.
How do you feel about him versus Vidal, though, when he comes back?
They're both going to be on the field, so there's enough to go around. The tackles suck. They can't throw the ball. Herbert's wrist is messed up.
Yeah. I guess you're hoping he catches like 4 or 5 passes in that game.
I think I'm playing Hampton as well.
Yeah.
But Odunze, Egbuka, or Pierce?
I think the answer kind of is Pierce.
Is Pierce?
Pierce has been pretty good. He's had 1 dud game in the last... I mean, Ray, like, even going back pretty far...
You can't confidently pick Odunze. Hey, we keep saying... They're the same damn player right now. They're the same player.
They're both touchdown-dependent options in not-so-great offenses. That's what they are. But that was the beginning of the season, too, right, Ray? When and it's funny, and I was going to bring this up earlier, like, I picked Odunze over London because I thought the volume would continue, and he was getting the touchdowns. Both went away. The touchdowns and the volume went away, so clearly that was stupid. But it was the same argument for McMillan over Egbuka. It was Egbuka scoring all these touchdowns. He can't continue to score all these touchdowns. He's not Devontae Adams. And what happens? The volume gets a little bit worse. The efficiency gets worse. The touchdowns go away. And he's been kind of so-so. And now it's to the point where McMillan actually has better stats than he does. which is crazy to think about from the start of the season.
Who has
You look
better
at the first
stats?
month-
Oh,
McMillan. He has more yards and the same amount of touchdowns as Egbuka right now.
I mean, it's been bad. Tampa Bay. So here's a stat right here, and I dropped this on Yahoo. And we'll wrap it up after this. Baker Mayfield, the first, what was it? The first month of the season,
up to Detroit
7 games of the season, something like that.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield led the league in 20-plus yard attempts and passing yards. I think he had 7 touchdowns that went 20-plus yards over the first 6 weeks of the season. Since that point in time, think about this, Jay. He had 7 passing touchdowns that went over 20 yards, led the league in 20-plus yard downfield throw yardage. Since that point in time, he has 1 completion of 20-plus yards. 1.
Wow.
1. Not 1 touchdown, 1 completion that's gone 20-plus yards, Jay. 1.
That's crazy. Since week 6, Baker has 1 multi-touchdown game.
You think I'm lying? I ain't gonna lie to you. I might tell you some sweet nothings here or there, make you feel a little bit better, but I ain't gonna lie to you.
He's also only thrown for 200 yards once
Jay,
in the last 5 games.
I just said he hadn't thrown the damn. He's got 1 completion that's gone longer than 20 yards. He's hurt.
Crazy.
This team is not. It's not the Liam Cohen offense, right? So if you're betting on Egbuka, it's a hope and a prayer that they figure the shit out this week. Because it's been stank since week 6. Stank.
Yeah.
Same kind of damn boat that Odunze's in, man.
Except Caleb ain't injured.
Well, and the Bucs aren't playing the damn Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field either. Like that's
gonna be tough.
But I agree with the chat. I'm not gonna start damn AD Mitchell over him. I'm not. But
so is the answer to that question Pierce and Hampton?
Yeah,
I think so. Pierce has been great, honestly.
Pierce has been really good.
We were so early on Pierce, but
we were
he
very
finally
early on
put it together. Yeah,
I mean, he's in the damn show. He's in the show. We like Pierce. Downfield threat. Downfield threat. Hit the music, Jay. Let's get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up this Friday. Wake up with Ray and Jay. We'll be back to our normal program schedule next week. On Monday, we will recap everything in week 14. We got the Wednesday show, got the Friday show. I got some college football content that we'll be dropping later. We've got exclusive content over on DDFFB, Trusted Trinity. Check out the tool over there and the content on DDFFB from all the content creators over there. JRich, anything you want to say to people before we get out of here, man?
No, enjoy football this weekend. We got conference championships in college. That should be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, man.
But very excited for the NFL. Some big games, some big matchups. But hopefully, Ray, we get some big wins from the Houston Texans and the Cincinnati Bengals, baby. That's what I'm hoping for this weekend. But it should be a good week. Should be excited.
Should be a good week of football. Thank y'all for pulling up with us. Thank y'all for vibing with us. And sorry you missed us earlier this week. Y'all know what it is. Anniversary 9 for me and Mrs. Garvin. Me and Mrs. GQ, 9 of them. We need to get that soundbite, JRich. 9, N-I-N-E. Enjoy college football this weekend. Enjoy the NFL, and make sure you wake y'all asses up with us on Monday morning. We out. Peace.